Hello and welcome to FPL Mate, your best mate for fantasy Premier League content for the 2022-23 season. My name is Dan, and holy guacamole! It says holy guacamole on the mug. It is time for the Gameweek 21 deadline stream. We're into the top 1 million finally after an absolutely tragic start to the season for my young self. We're finally on a good run. We've had consecutive green arrows since the international break, since game week 17. We've halved our rank during that time, and hopefully we can continue to rocket up the ranks with some good FPL picks. So today we are going to talk about all things game week 21. I'm sure there's a few things you want to talk about, but if I'm totally honest, guys, it's a bit of a boring week. It's one of those weeks that's a little bit boring, where it's probably going to be a pretty low scoring one. It's probably going to be one of the lowest scoring game weeks around. And the only kind of exception would be if some of you guys have, my hair is crazy today. If you guys have get some players who get very, very fortunate, very, very lucky. It's going to be a game that's defined a little bit by random hauls and luck and stuff like that. So yeah, not expecting too much from a lot of our FPL assets, and the main reason for that is because of the midfield. I think the midfield typically is where gets us a lot of our points each game week, and this week we have got Arsenal versus Manchester United, two solid defences facing up against each other, and a lot of the best midfielders in FPL right now are from Arsenal and Manchester United. You know, Rashford, Ødegaard, Martinelli, these kind of players. We're not expecting them to score super, super high. So same thing with kind of our defenders. A lot of you guys have Man United and Arsenal defenders. Not expecting too much from them, to be honest, today. So, today, tomorrow. So yeah, it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one. Carter says, "Where are you in the restart league?" In the FPL Mate one, let's have a look. I'm 320th in the FPL Mate Do-Over League, which is pretty good. I think there's a few thousand of us in there, so that's pretty decent, I think. In the Second Chance League, I'm up to 500,000, so I'm a little bit cautiously optimistic that, particularly as I haven't used any chips yet still, that maybe we can do quite well in the Second Chance League. I don't know if we can, shoot for top 10k in the world for the Second Chance League. It's going to be difficult, but we'll give it a go. But yeah, certainly it's been a good start to that for sure. So yeah, long may that continue. See, a few of you guys are asking about the bench list. I've started a bench list. As always, I'll get you guys to shout out some names in the chat, and we'll fill up the bench list and hopefully go, find some good players to put in there that's answering many, many questions. Let's see who's in the chat today. We've got any members. Lucas is in the chat. What's up, Lucas? Offcore is here as well, and so is Dan Cross. Morning, everyone. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys are ready for the new game week. Like I say, I think it's going to be a boring one. I don't think many people are going to be making transfers. I think this is kind of a roll your transfer and Captain Haaland's kind of game week. A pretty boring one, really, but it is what it is. But we'll try and answer any questions that you guys do have. Starting off, I've just seen a good one from Matt in the chat. Matt Webb. Hold Martial or bring in Tony? Well, I would certainly be removing Martial. He has been absent from training again. So I think we do need to replace him. Tony is my favourite replacement. I know that's kind of controversial though, and not a lot of other content creators might not be saying the same thing, but I do think Tony is the best replacement. Giandre says, Foden to Ødegaard or Patson to Estepinian for a -4 or roll. Oh, do you mean you have to do both of those, or can you just do Foden to Ødegaard? I would just do the one. I don't think I'd take the -4. Although, to be honest, and this is another difficult thing with this game week, I can see some rotation coming for Manchester City. Like, they're only playing this game a few days after. Like, they've got Wolves at home, which they play tomorrow, and they played the last fixture against Spurs on Thursday, which is Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 3 days, really. Less than 3 days, really, because this game is a 2 o'clock kickoff on Sunday, so it's like 2.5 days. So this is primed. This is primed for some Pep rotation. De Bruyne, I think, definitely comes back in, which is good. I think players like Mahrez are potentially in trouble, but I do think that players like Foden could actually maybe do something in this game. I think Foden could actually start, which is a frustrating one. You know, if Grealish is going to come out of the team, or if Mahrez is going to come into the team, you'd say the first player to replace those guys is going to be Foden. So, yeah, I would be really tempted to actually keep Foden this week, but he is definitely a player that needs to go at some point. Doesn't he? He really does need to go at some point. Ramsey Unleashed, thank you for the super sticker. Hey, you. Is that a pair? Is that a pair wearing some 80s sports workout gear? Giving us a little wave, saying, hey, you. Thank you for that. Ethan's here as well. What's up, Ethan? Pep's going to pep. Off core, I think you're right, man. I think you're right. I think Pep is going to pep. Why Ake? Because I just think he's the best Man City defender aside from John Stones. But John Stones was injured last week, so I went for Nathan Ake instead. I think Ake is probably going to be the most one of the more nailed on, because particularly if Cancelo is not going to play, and I think that the Cole Cancelo system that Man City are going for, I think that's kind of a thing of the past. I think if you've got Cancelo still, you probably do want to be selling him. And if Cancelo is not playing, well, who is going to play at left back? It's going to be our good friend Nathan Ake, who has been once again singled out by Pep Guardiola as a player that he really likes, who is doing very, very well. So he's impressed by his attitude and his commitment. This is very good news. As an Ake owner, this is very good news. So, yeah, liking that a lot. The Gaming Panda, member for 4 months. Very nice. Austin Gold, member for 12 months. So that means you've recently got the 12-month members badge. Excellent. Daniel Skevin in the chat says, Mount out for Erdegaard in for a hit -4. Oh, would I do that for a -4? Although I would be very keen to get Mount out. It is a game against Liverpool, one of the weaker defences. Erdegaard's a really tricky one. Let's have a look and see what the points predictions are saying today. So let's go to midfielders. Point predictions for Gameweek 21. If Erdegaard is 4 points, well, expected to score 4 points or more than Mount, then it's probably worth it, isn't it? But I don't think that's going to be the case. So Erdegaard predicted points for Gameweek 21 is 5.1. Pretty decent there. And if we go down a little bit lower, and I say a little bit lower, I mean a lot lower, we will eventually find Mason Mount on 3.6 predicted points. So yeah, the difference there is like, what, 1.5 predicted points difference. So you're probably not going to make it up today, but if you know you're going to have to take a -4 at some point to get Erdegaard into your team anyway, and you kind of worked out that one way or another in a future game week, you're going to have to take a -4 either way just to get Erdegaard in, or Erdegaard will be one of your transfers around the same time as you've taken a -4 in the future, then in that case, it might be worth going for it a little bit early and going for it today. So that's probably what I would say to that one. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Dan Cross, member for 26 months. Yeah, that's a beast, Dan. I think you might be my longest serving member at this point. 26 months. Has this channel even been around for 26 months? Crikey. I do appreciate you sticking with me, though. I really do appreciate that. I don't know if you noticed, you've got the new 24-month badge as well. That came in a couple of months ago. Jandre says, thanks, Dan. Do you think Mitrovic to Tony is worth a -4? Probably not. Probably not. Yeah, I mean, like, Mitrovic plays against Spurs, right? Spurs are not that good, particularly defensively. Let's have a look at some defensive numbers. And then we'll answer some more super chats and stuff. So yeah, if we look at some defensive numbers here, so I've got them in front of us here, and I've ordered this by expected goals conceded, and it's since game week 17. So since the break, per appearance, how many expected goals are each team conceding per game? Newcastle up top, no surprise. Up there with Man United, Man City, Chelsea, a bit of a surprise package, as are Southampton, Forest, and Brentford. And Arsenal are actually here, which is interesting. They did take a bit of a battering on their expected goals conceded versus Spurs, because they did got a couple of expected goals conceded in that game. Even though they kept the clean sheet, great performance by Ramsdale, they were conceding chances. Fulham are up a little bit. But yeah, we can see that Spurs are all the way down here. They're kind of, in the bottom half of the table for expected goals conceded. They're just in a little bit of, I've been using the word disarray a lot this week. Spurs are in disarray. they have been conceding a lot of chances, haven't they? So Mitrovic and the rest of the guys at Fulham create a lot of chances. If we look at the stats from the since the break again for our players, you can see here Mitrovic 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th. So out of the players who have played who've started a game per start, Mitrovic is in 6th. For expected points, so he's still taking a lot of shots. He's on penalties as well, which is usually nice. Yeah, it's pretty high. Maybe the penalties have impacted that a little bit. It kind of inflated his expected points just a little bit, but he's still got good numbers. He's still got good numbers in general. He's taken a few shots per game. In general, it's quite nice. If we order by shots per appearance, again, you can see Mitrovic, he's up there. So one of the forwards who has taken the most amount of shots, which is very, very good. XG, Mitrovic again. So yeah, we're seeing Mitrovic at the top. A lot of these kind of these stats for players who are getting opportunities to score. So, know a lot of you guys are going to have Mitrovic. I know a lot of you guys are going to be kind of feeling a little bit disappointed by Mitrovic recently as well. If we find, where are you, Mitrovic? There you are, down here. Yeah, he has had a couple of stinky scores, but you've got to remember, 0 points against Newcastle. It's just because he missed the penalty. Chelsea, he was suspended, so he couldn't play that game. Leicester, he did actually score. So, you know, yes, he got the yellow card, which kind of took away from his points a little bit, but he did score a goal in that game. Game before that, he missed a penalty again. So, yeah, that has been infecting his points a little bit. So it looks like, before that, you know, game week 17, 15 points. So, in general, yes, his point scores have been low, but there have been very specific reasons for that aren't necessarily things that can happen every game. You don't expect Mitrovic to miss a penalty every single game. Like, that's just not going to happen every single game, so I wouldn't worry about that happening too much. He's still a good pick. He's not suddenly an awful pick. I don't think that. Maybe there are some better picks. You know, I prefer Tony, for example, but would I take a -4 to make that move? No, I wouldn't. And particularly if you're worried about game week 25, where there will be blanks, then Mitrovic is not going to blank in game week 25, and Tony very well might do. So, yeah, these are just the things you kind of got to consider. I've got a couple of more super chats here. Ethan, member for 23 months. That's you're very close to the 24-month badge, Ethan. You will get there. You're one of my first members as well. I remember that very clearly. Johansson says, want to save a transfer this game week, but have to play short or white. Who? Good time to throw up the bench list? I think it is. Yeah, so I've actually, on the bench list, obviously it's an incomplete bench list. We'll add some more players to this, but I have currently got Ben White slightly above Shaw, and I think that's backed up by predicted points as well. So if we go predicted points, go to defenders. In general, these defenders are not particularly high ranking, but you can see the Arsenal guys here. It's a home fixture as well, of course. Ben White, 3.5 predicted points there. And we are going to have to scroll a little bit down to find our good friend Luke Shaw, because he is not predicted very high at all. In fact, the Man United defenders in general not predicted to score very highly against Arsenal. Arsenal are expected to score. There you go, 2.5 predicted points for Luke Shaw. So you can see these Manchester United guys are kind of a lot lower. They are a lot lower. So it's not looking too good for those Manchester United guys, particularly with Casemiro, you know, obviously not going to play against Arsenal. That is going to make a difference. The fact that it's an away fixture is going to make a difference. The fact that Arsenal are playing with such confidence and winning every game seemingly at the moment is going to make a difference as well. I know you could say a similar thing about Man United, that they'll be, you know, feeling confident and very good as well. And I'm not saying that Arsenal are just going to beat Man United, but I am saying that Arsenal are probably going to score against Man United. I can see a 1-1 happening there. I can see a 1-0 happening there. I can see a 2-1 happening there. I would imagine that Arsenal do indeed score against Manchester United. The stats back that up. The bookies odds back that up as well. And it just kind of looks like Manchester United defenders, I would probably bench them before you bench an Arsenal defender, to be honest. So, yeah. play Shaw. Like you're gonna want to have Shaw anyway, so it's not like you're gonna transfer him out. So play White, but bench Shaw, but don't sell Shaw. Is what I'm trying to say. Ross Wheeler says start Kepa or De Gea. I would probably start Kepa, but it's close, that one. But I think Kepa. Like if we look at the best defenses, Chelsea are up there. They really are up there. And Liverpool are just struggling to finish their chances at the moment. They really are. They're in a bit of a rut, aren't they? Unfortunately for them. Lucas says, "Hi Dan, is Martinelli still a decent FPL option when Trossard is in? Would you also consider Watkins as an option for Aston Villa offensive fixtures from Gameweek 25 after Ings transfer out?" I mean, I don't want to think too much about Gameweek 25 onwards. I've never really been too much of a fan of Watkins as an FPL asset because his numbers often look good, but he very rarely makes good of his numbers. He's kind of he's not a very clinical finisher. So even when his numbers are okay, and if I'm totally honest, I don't think they're that great anyway. Let's try and find him. Where is Watkins? Okay, so he's all the way down here, which is, it's okay. It's like not great though. These are not fantastic numbers when you compare him to a lot of the other forwards that you have at your disposal. If you combine the fact that that he always underperforms on his numbers as well, like if he'll probably score 1 goal per 1.5 xg. So yeah, it kind of makes him an even worse option. That's kind of trying to use these underlying stats in context. So I'm not a fan of Watkins typically, really. Martinelli, on the other hand, is still a good pick. It's still a good pick. A lot of people are kind of wondering about Trossard, how he's going to fit in at Arsenal. Some of you guys know I'm an Arsenal fan, so I do take an interest in these things. Trossard, for me, is not going to be a regular starter at all. He's going to be kind of playing in the cup games. We're still in Europe. I'm going to call it Europe. It's not the Champions League. We're still in Europe. And we're hopefully going to go far in Europe. But yeah, so Trossard's going to be playing European games and obviously cup games as well. We've got FA Cup games as well. So I probably expect Trossard to be starting some of those games. But in the Premier League, Martinelli is first choice. He is first choice. He's going to remain first choice. Trossard, he's not going to, he's not going to take Nketiah's position either. Trossard is going to be on the bench. He may eat into some minutes from the bench across the front line. And I say across the front line, I really do mean across the whole front line. Left wing, right wing, striker. Can play as a bit of a second striker, can't he? Maybe even in midfield as well. Real kind of, a player who can play in a diverse amount of positions, which is exactly why Arsenal have signed him. A backup player to protect us against injuries, who is going to be primarily on the bench. If we get a disaster, one of our main players gets injured, he can come in and deputise quite well. But I don't think he's actually going to pose any threat to our main Arsenal attacking players. On Arsenal, so let's now go have a look at some stats again. Let's go to Arsenal. Since the break, you can see the Martinelli on expected points. We see Martinelli in third still. So Martinelli, I know a lot of people have been a bit disappointed because he's blanked twice. By the way, guys, Erling Haaland has now blanked 3 games in a row. Are we talking about taking him out? No. We recognise he's essential. All season we've been saying Martinelli is essential. And he's only blanked 2 games. So Martinelli is definitely still a good FPL option. He is not someone I would want to make a swap to Ødegaard for example. It's a luxury move. If you had a straight choice, if you want a wild card, perhaps you do go for Ødegaard. But Martinelli is still a very, very good pick. His numbers are better than the likes of Saka. He's better than all other Arsenal defenders. Ødegaard is beating him on underlying numbers, yes. And so is Nketiah. But Martinelli's still very good. He's got better XG. Not quite as creative. Someone on Twitter put out a really interesting stat the other day that since the break, Martinelli has the most amount of penalty area touches in the whole Premier League. So Martinelli, if we're looking for players who are in and are inside the box, taking touches, and when you're in the box taking touches, it basically means you're looking to either pass or shoot. Pass directly to a shooter or shoot yourself. And Martinelli is taking the most penalty area touches of any player in the whole Premier League since the World Cup break. That's a very good stat. That's a very important stat. And that is a stat that tells us that Martinelli is still very much a dangerous player that we want to own. So I am not concerned about Martinelli. I want to keep him. I definitely want to keep him. Like, going to my team, for example, like, here, like, what kind of moves do I make here? Like, you can make all kinds of suggestions. Some people say I'll go Almiron to... well, I can't afford Almiron to Ødegaard. Otherwise, I possibly would have done that. So Almiron to Ødegaard, I like as a transfer. I can't. I'm 0.1 million short of that move, so I can't do it. I just have to accept that. That's just one of those things. So yeah, that's off the cards. Martinelli to Ødegaard, I don't think so. I don't think so. But yeah, I need to get Ødegaard in somehow, and this is another reason why I'm not making transfers this week. Almiron is the player I need to swap to Ødegaard. I can't do it for free this game week. If I'm to do it, I would have to take a -4. I don't think Crystal Palace is a bad enough fixture to warrant me making that move. Arsenal have Everton next week, and I do want Ødegaard in ready for that one. So I'm going to wait. And I'm going to do a double transfer somehow, possibly involving Lewis Dunk, possibly trying to get one more Man United player in. So, for example, I thought about downgrading Dunk to Ben White. No, not Ben White. He doesn't play for Manchester United. Why I say Ben White? I mean, because he's another player I kind of want. To Martinez. So maybe Martinez at Manchester United. He's 4.5 million. Should be pretty nailed on now. So Dunk to Martinez. That frees up 0.2, I believe. And then I can upgrade Almiron to Ødegaard. I'll have the money to do that. So I get an extra Manchester United double game week player for 22. And I'll finally have Ødegaard in my team. And that'll be pretty good for me. I'll be tripled up on United. I'll have double Arsenal, which means I'll just need to find one more Arsenal player for the following game week, game week 23, where Arsenal double. So that one, I haven't really figured out how I'm going to do it yet. Tony to Nketiah is a one I've thought of potentially doing. It's definitely on my mind, Tony to Nketiah. But I'm not sure, because obviously Tony plays Arsenal in that game week, which is not a great game week for him. So yeah, that would also save me from the Tony blank in 25. I'll just have that 24 to contend with. And I think things will start looking very good for my team at that point. So that is the rough plan right now, I think. Something like that. I think it sounds pretty good. I've got some new super chats in here as well. Let's have a look and see where they are. I will catch up with you guys. Don't you worry about that. Okay, so Ed says, "Hi Dan, love your content." Thank you very much, Ed. And thank you very much for the very generous £5 super chat. Should I play Almiron or Andreas with no transfer, or use a transfer to bring in Mitoma and play him? If I was to get one player as like a 2-game week punt, it would be Mitoma. Now, this is kind of team dependent for you, Ed. For me, my Mitoma slot, where he would come in, is Almiron. You know, it would be Almiron to Mitoma. But Almiron is also the slot I need to move to Ødegaard. So for me, it's not possible. I don't have enough money in the bank to do this. Some people are going to have the luxury of doing Andreas to Mitoma. Fair enough. If you can do that, I certainly think about it. One thing I would consider, though, is how often are you going to play him? Because I've seen a lot of people who have 3 forwards that are great forwards that they'll be starting every week. They have 4 midfielders that are great midfielders and they'll be starting them every week. And they also have Mitoma in addition to those 4 great midfielders. So you're going to have to bench someone every week. How often is that going to be Mitoma? If you're going to be playing Mitoma every week, then fair enough, go for it. Or maybe, you know, that actually means that maybe one of your other midfielders is the one you need to remove. These are kind of things you need to consider. A lot of people are making the Andreas to Mitoma swap or Andreas to March swap. Fair enough. How often are you going to play that player? Are you just bringing in a player to bench them? Are you actually now deciding that you're going to bench one of your previously starting midfielders? And if so, if that player is going to be a player who now moves to your bench, is it actually worth transferring them out instead? You can't play 8 attackers. You have to play, well, you can't play more than 7. Someone's got to miss out. And if you bring, and that's just one trap I think some people are falling into. They're bringing, and I've seen a few people on Twitter doing it. They're bringing in the likes of Mitoma and March for Andreas and then benching them. Why are you doing the transfer then? If you're not going to play this player, why are you making that transfer? You've tied up more money on your bench. You're probably not going to bench boost. So there's no real point in doing that. Doesn't sound that good to me. But on the other hand, if you've already got your Ødegaard slot sorted, unlike me, maybe you don't have De Bruyne in your team. Maybe your midfield is already Rashford, Martinelli, or Ødegaard. You don't have Martinelli. But then at that point, you're going to probably want to get Martinelli in back. So unless you're playing with two forwards, is Mitoma really that good of a transfer? If you think about who you're going to move to next. So, Ed, I know that's a really, really long, convoluted and complicated answer. But the answer is there's no one straight answer for everyone. You can afford to play Almiron. I think Crystal Palace is a fine fixture. I'd definitely be playing him ahead of Andreas. You could bring in Mitoma, but only if you're actually going to play him regularly, only if you've got another way of getting Ødegaard into your team or Martinelli into your team, because we do need to make sure we are loading up on those. We need to, you really do need, ideally, 2 Arsenal midfielders for Game Week 23. You can maybe get away with 1 midfielder if it's Ødegaard. I don't think I'd want to go without Ødegaard in Game Week 23. I think he's probably becomes the most essential player in that whole game week. Something to consider. It's just, yes, Mitoma, great shout, as long as you also have a way of getting Ødegaard or Martinelli or other Arsenal players into your team at a later date. Paul Downey says, would rather roll the transfer, but Mount to Martinelli and Martial to Tony for month 4 could be okay. I mean, yeah, I would rather go for Ødegaard right now. But yeah, I do pretty much agree with you there. Martial, not been in training. It kind of concerns about whether he's available or not. I would really consider that. Mount to Saka, I'm not so keen on. I know Saka is on penalties, but again, Saka is a little bit more expensive than some of the other guys, and he's just not putting up as very good numbers compared to the other other guys. And maybe you can say Saka is a little bit more clinical, potential for more points. I mean, he hasn't scored more points than the other guys since the break. Ødegaard and Martinelli have outscored Saka since the international break, and they're cheaper. So you kind of depending a little bit on penalties there to try and make up the difference. Could be worth it. Potentially. I don't know. Tony over the next few. I think Tony could do well this week. Going back to these stats here. Leeds United. Highest expected goals conceded. Highest or lowest, depending on how you want to look at it. But 2.3 expected goals conceded per game since the break. That's a lot. It puts them bottom of the table. So Tony is going to be a good player for this game week. That's for sure. So, yeah, I would think about that. Martial to Nonto, I don't like this one. I've seen a lot of people hyping up Nonto. Don't really get it. Obviously, he's a great player, but this seems like Twitter hype. And those of you guys who are looking at Nonto, where were you inspired? Was it FPL Twitter? Be honest. Guys in the chat, let me know if you're thinking about Nonto. Did you get the idea from Twitter, or did Twitter influence that? Because I've seen a lot of people hyping up Nonto on Twitter. I don't like it. I think this is a Twitter trap. Certainly for this game week. Let's have a look at Nonto's numbers. So, pretty decent. 2 shots per game, 0.29 expected goals per game. That's okay. Expected assists, creativity, not too good. But yeah, a little bit of expected goals per game, 0.29. This is per start, by the way, guys. That means he's expected to score 1 goal every 3 to 4 games. It's not amazing. It's not amazing, is it? And yes, fair enough, he's 5 million. That's very cheap and it's very nice. And he does have a double game week next week. So next week, yeah, looks much better. Double these numbers for a double game week. And that starts to look a lot better for that game week, right? And maybe he's an enabler as well. But as a player who you bring in a massive downgrade and you on whatever forward you have right now as an individual transfer in game week 21 specifically, with a player whose numbers are, they're okay, but they're nothing special here, really. I'm not saying he's a bad player. He's a young player. He's playing in a team kind of not at the top of the table. We'll put it that way. I just don't know if he's going to do it against a defense which is top. What's that? Top six? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th. 7th best defence since the break. And by the way, that's in a run of fixtures that's included games against two of the best attacks in the league in Spurs and Liverpool, who create an insane amount of chances and then generate an insane amount of expected goals, which does impact this number. In the 4 games, half of Brentford's games have been against fantastic opponents, and the other half of the games that Brentford have played since the break, they've kept clean sheets in. Surprise, surprise. They've moved to a back 5 formation a lot of the time. Brentford are really an improved defence. So, people looking at Nonto, a player who's getting 0.2 expected, well, 0.29, was it 0.29? 0.25, 0.29, something like that, expected goals per game, going up one of the improved defences since the break in a single game week. What are you expecting? What is the best you're expecting here, really? Could he grab a goal? Of course he could. Is he the player who is most likely to score a goal this game week? Probably not. Let's have a little look. Forwards. Predicted points game week 21. Just so I can give a slightly less biased opinion, I guess. I don't know if I am being biased, but obviously it's all opinions based. But this should show us some numbers. 3.5 expected points for Nonto against Brentford. Not great, really. All of these forwards are ahead of him. Ollie Watkins, Wilson, Havertz, Darwin, Calvert-Lewin, Mbumo, Vardy, Adams, Nketiah, Mitrovic, Johnson, Tony, Kane, Haaland. There's a lot of better options for this game week. Next game week, different scenario. It's the double game week. Let's have some fun on the double game week, but we're not there yet. So, unless you have to get Nonto in to make a double transfer this week, which is going to be the case for some people, what is the best you're expecting here, really? This is not one of those transfers, to me, that makes sense for game week 21. Anyway, if you're on a wild card, fine. If you have to get Nonto in because you need to free up some money somehow, fine. But Brentford is no longer a great fixture. So I'm going to put that one out there into the ether. Matt says, hold transfer or Martial for Nonto ready for double game week. Matt, well, what a coincidence. I've just answered that question, I think. No, I would still transfer out Martial. If you have to get Nonto in, if you really want him for the double game week and you're kind of forced into that move, doing it now, which you are forced into, and then again, that's a kind of a specific circumstance where I understand it. I do understand that. But again, don't expect too much. Even if you think that Leeds will score against Brentford, and I think Leeds could possibly score 1 goal against Brentford, I'm not expecting them to score more than 1. Who is really the most likely player to score? Well, I'll give you a clue. It's not Nonto. It's actually on expected goals, Harrison. Well, if he starts, it's Rodrigo. Potentially Bamford if he's back as well. So yeah, you just don't expect too much. If you want to go for it 1 week early and you just really want it for the double game week, fair enough. I do still feel like players like Tony and Nketiah are better shouts than Nonto at the moment, for me personally. I'd be tempted to go for Nketiah actually. Rather than, like, if I had to transfer out Martial right now for someone, it would be to Nketiah. And he's got that double game week in 23. So, yes, you lose a game week 22 doubler, but you gain game week 23 doubler. Hey. An eye for an eye. Makes the whole world blind. Achilles says, hi Dan, would you go Almiron to Erdegaard? Yes, I think I would do that for free. Andres to Mitoma. Probably not, because probably means you're going to bench someone. Mitrovic to Tony. No, I don't think I would do that necessarily, or roll the transfer. I'd be tempted to do Almiron to Erdegaard for a free transfer, because Erdegaard is a player you're going to want in your team no matter what over the next few game weeks. So yeah, do it a little bit early. Why not? I appreciate I'm a little bit behind on Super Chats, by the way. IHB, member for 24 months, and OG. IHB, Or HB? It's HB, isn't it? HB. HB, the OG, 24 months. Love it, man. Love it. Let's try and find some more super chats here. I know there's some others that I may have missed. I think I've missed the Nonto chat as well. Apologies if I miss any super chats here. I've been chatting for way too long about Nonto. Adit Gamenstein says, your content is awesome. Thank you so much. I wanted to say that you resemble a lot like Klaus from the Umbrella Academy, and you have great humour as well. Well, I appreciate it, Adit. I don't know who Klaus is. Klaus from the Umbrella Academy. Not a program I've watched before. I know some people, I think my wife has watched that show. Let's have a look. Klaus, Umbrella Academy. Let's have a look. Is he a handsome devil? Or is he a toad? You know what? Is that the guy from... Is this the guy from Misfits? I think it is. I see what you mean. He's got facial hair, and he's got brown eyes. He's got brown hair. And I did also have that... Used to have hair this long. A little bit. Okay, all right. I mean, I think that's a compliment. I am going to take that as a compliment. And I love his work in Misfits as well. So, thank you very much, Adit. Back to FPL. Ben Brooks says, best defender not from Arsenal/Newcastle this game week. For this game week specifically, let's have a look at the numbers. I'd imagine it'd be a Man City defender. For this game week, John Stones, Trippier, Alexander-Arnold, yikes. Ake, Akanji, Perisic, yikes. I've seen a lot actually saying that West Ham defenders are looking pretty good. The underlying numbers suggest that, but I don't know if I fully... I think use these numbers with context, right? It's difficult to recommend anyone not from Arsenal and Newcastle. Like Luke Shaw, Trippier, these players you need. Get an Arsenal defender, Ben White, Gabriel, whatever. And then maybe a Manchester City defender as well. Nathan Ake, John Stones. So, I don't know. Maybe that answers your question, Ben. Aha. It seems like Let's Talk FPL is the culprit for the Nonto hype. Well, over here at the FPL Mate channel, we are going to go against that. We're going to say Nonto, don't like him for this game week. Don't like him. But Let's Talk FPL is a good FPL manager, so maybe I'm wrong, but I'm confident. Now we're going to go against that one. And you know what? I'm feeling more confident in my picks at the moment. We're on a bit of a streak. So I'm feeling I've got... You know when a few of your picks go right, so you think all of them must go right. That's kind of where I'm at right now. But there you go. Yeah, I'm not rating it. I'm not rating Nonto. Not seeing the hype. Oh, dearie me. Right, any more super chats we need to get through? I'm way behind still. I'm so sorry, guys. Siddharth says, KDB or Erdegaard? Both? Ideally, you have both. As long as you've got both by game week 23, I think you're good. I'd say Erdegaard is probably the more pressing one. Or is he? I don't know if he is. You want both of those players, really. Erdegaard's much better value for money, so let's say Erdegaard. But you want to have both of those players, I think. Probably. Right, where are we next? So, Leaston Snake says, hi Dan, love the content, Kepa or Ward? I'm going for Kepa. I think Kepa is the slightly better goalkeeper. I actually think Kepa is a decent goalkeeper. I'm going to keep the answer short though, because I know I'm lagging way behind on the chat, and I can only apologise, guys. Michael says, Dan, thank you for the content. It's the best FPL content. Thank you so much, Michael. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. Can you give us amateurs from Czechia any advice about the free hit to play in game week 22 or 25? Is it worth to play the second wildcard today? No, and no. No, I think we do still want to try and be a little bit more patient with these chips. We don't have to use them quite yet. There's going to be some really nice opportunities later down in the season. You know, I like using the wildcard in conjunction with the bench boost. So either use the wildcard to create a bench boost team with a really strong bench, or use the wildcard to escape from a bench boost team. So, you escape from the fact that maybe you've put a lot of money on your bench. So that's what I would be doing with the wildcard. I'd be saving it and using it around the bench boost if possible. If possible. If your team is a mess, you really hate your team, then fair enough. What I would say is Game Week 21, everyone's team looks a mess. It's like Game Week 21, it's just going to be a low-scoring game. Game Week, in general, even if you use your free hit now, still going to be a low-scoring game week. So I wouldn't worry about this week too much. And it's why it's been a bit of a boring game week, really. Views on content has been pretty low because we all kind of just understand that it's going to be a low-scoring game week. It's going to be a game week where a lot of people just roll their transfer and say, hey, one of those game weeks, next game week looks a lot better. And all of the players that you might be removing from this game week to try and maximise Game Week 21, you're going to regret because those are the same players who have good fixtures from Game Week 22, 23 onwards, particularly Arsenal and Manchester United players who you really want to have for 22 and 23. So it's a difficult one. I think this is a game week we just kind of got to take the L. I know people are worried about low-scoring game weeks in 21. It doesn't matter. Everyone is in the same boat. And anyone who's not in the same boat, who rips their team apart for Game Week 21, is going to be suffering in Game Week 22. Anyone who wastes their chips trying to create something out of a nothing game week, again, they're going to regret it further down the line. But that's just one opinion. That's just thinking about what's optimal. Different people are going to be in very different scenarios. Like if you've got 6 injuries and 2 suspensions in your team right now, then maybe you do need to wildcard, right? That's a very specific example, but some people are going to be in that situation, right? Surely, by law of averages, there's 11 million FPL players. Someone out there is going to have 6 injuries, 12 suspensions, 9 absentees for personal reasons, and 2 players in prison. So those people maybe do need to wildcard. So it's not a rule that fits all, but it's a rule that fits the template, I guess. That's what I would say. Say no to Nonto? That's, yeah, all right. All right, say no to Nonto. Or can we shorten that to Nont No? That's the new hashtag for FPL, for the FPL Mate chat. Nont No. We'll bring it to Twitter as well. Nick says, hi, mate. Thank you so much for your help. Had no faith in Bruno last week. I went for him and got the jackpot. Jackpot. Hey, Mikhail, congratulations, my friend. 103 points. Absolute banger. Well done. Last week, got up 30k places to 9,000th in the world. Mikhail, you are doing God's work. Well played, man. Nunez to Tony or Andreas to Misserman? Nunez to Tony for me. Or Nunez to Nketiah. Tony or Nketiah. Those are my 2 favourites. Not Nonto. Not no. Oh, there we go. Ferry says, I'm not believing you again because Mahrez last game week. To be fair, all right, fair enough, right? Fair enough. But to be fair though, when I said Mahrez avoid, that was very early on in the game week. And then I did change my mind. After the buy, sell, keep, avoid video, and I saw the midweek game, which was the League Cup game, I think. And then Mahrez got a healthy rest in that. Well, did he get a rest? No, it was Foden started. Mahrez looked good again in a game in the midweek. And suddenly it kind of came to me that, yeah, Mahrez is the guy in form. He's the guy who's going to be starting games. And I did kind of, by deadline, and I think I even said it in a couple of videos after that I was, even in my team selection video, I think I said, yeah, I'm actually now tempted to go for Mahrez. I kind of see it now. I've changed my mind. I've taken the L. So, yeah, this is why you have to watch all of the videos. I'm sorry. Sometimes early on in the game week, I will make certain shouts and I'll change my mind towards the end. So, yes, I did, and I have to hold my hands up. Maybe I rushed that decision a little bit and got a bit too concerned about Mahrez early on, like a week before the game week started, saying, yeah, I don't like this one. Maybe I should have just held my tongue and kind of waited to form a better opinion before blurting it out there to you guys. And I can only apologise for that one. But I do just want to try and defend myself a little bit and say, in videos after that, I did say, okay, I think Mahrez is back on the table. I don't think he's an avoid anymore. I kind of like him. I'd be tempted to go for him. I was very tempted to. I almost went for him myself, to be fair. So yeah, in the end, he didn't turn out to be an avoid, but look, I put it in the video, so apologies, guys. Yeah, lesson learned is don't watch FPL Mate content early on in the week. No, that's a bad try. Please watch my videos. In fact, here's the better advice. Watch every single FPL Mate video from start to finish, all the way until the end of the week, to see if any of my opinions have changed. There you go. There's a great way of keeping me in work, and also you guys getting great FPL opinions. I say great FPL opinions. I use that term very loosely. But yeah, no, I appreciate you watching anyway, even though that was a bit of a stinker shout early on in the game week. But no, like I said, did actually 180 on Mahrez towards the end of the game week. But then again, if it went the other way, maybe I'd be saying, well, if Mahrez blanked, I might be saying, well, I did say to avoid. I may have wavered, I may have changed my mind, but it was my original opinion that was my true one. Deary me. Deary me. Anyway. Yeah, from here, like, one of the concerns about Mahrez was whether he's going to get rotated at some point. If he's going to get rotated, this is probably the game for it, but who knows? I'm done trying to predict it. He's not a player you'd sell now, is he? Given the form that he's in. Looking pretty good. Matt says Salah to Erdegaard, Martial to Tony, -4. Don't mind that. I don't mind that, to be fair. That's not too bad. Carr says Kepa Award, no tricks this week, Dan. Okay, this is another one, because at the start of last deadline stream, I had Ward in goal. And by the end of deadline stream, I switched to Kepa. But I'm not going to change my mind this time. No tricks, no changings of minds. I've only got 13 minutes to change my mind anyway, to be fair. And I don't think I'm going to. But for me, I'm going for Kepa Arrizabalaga, the goalkeeping GOAT. 25 points in 4 game weeks. That's a very good amount of points. That's over 6 points per game week. Can he continue that run? I think he can. Liverpool just can't finish at the moment. Great attack. Can't finish. Chelsea actually defensively not actually doing too badly. Kepa making saves. People are still slagging off Kepa. They're still underestimating him. He's a good goalkeeper. Decent goalkeeper. So yeah. How about a captain survey? I don't know. I think it's pretty clear cut, isn't it, really? I think it's pretty clear cut, Simon. Hajir says, should I get Ake, Stones, or another Man City for me? Oh, don't sell me. Don't sell Ben me. If you've got me already, then don't sell him. Just keep him. Obviously, I'd rather have an Ake or a Stones, but like long term. But for this week, I think me is fine. Nailed on. Good fixture. Good defense. Paredes says Kepa versus Ward dilemma. What coincidence? We just answered that question. Kepa. Jadre says, assuming everyone has Trippier, Shaw, and an Arsenal defender, which defenders under 5 million are good options? Keep 25 in mind. I will not keep Game at 25 in mind. I will tell you Botman. Or maybe Dan Burn. But Botman. And the reason why is because he's going to keep 4 clean sheets in the next 4 games. That will more than make up for the fact that he blanks in 25. If I offered you a defender right now who over the next 5 game weeks is going to get 4 clean sheets and 1 0-pointer, are you taking that? So, over 5 game weeks, 24 points before bonus. If I offered you a defender who gets 24 points in 5 game weeks, are you taking that defender? Yes, you are. For 4.5 million, you are 100% taking that. So, this whole Game Week 25 thing, I posted this on Twitter last night as a bit of a rant, but I'll do the rant again live for you guys. But people are thinking too much about Game Week 25, and the people who are doing it, it is a classic trap. It's a classic trap. It's one of those traps that affects people who know a lot about FPL, but not quite enough. Have you ever heard the phrase, a little knowledge is a dangerous thing? this is an example of that. It's a classic example of that. Because people will look at this, blank game week 25. We're going to have players blanking in 25. A lot of FPL managers around the world, like the more casual players, aren't going to know about game week 25. I've got a secret hidden weapon, something that I know that other people don't. That there's going to be players who blank in 25. So I'm going to take advantage of this information. I'm not going to get Tony. I'm not going to get Trippier. I'm not going to get Botman. Manchester United likely to blank in that game week. I'm not going to get Rashford. I'm not going to get Luke Shaw. And suddenly, you find yourself ignoring all of the best FPL assets because they blank in 5 game weeks' time. They have to play 4 fixtures before that, and all of these players from Brighton, Brentford, Newcastle, and Manchester United all have fantastic fixtures between now and the blank. All of them, amazing fixtures. They're going to more than account. The best players from these teams are going to more than account for them for the fact that they blank. So if you have to take a -4 in game week 25, if you have to play with 10 men in game week 25, so what? So what? You've just gained so many points in the interim that it doesn't matter. So a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. And the casual players who don't know about the blank game week 25, they're going to pick Tony. Tony's going to probably score 2 goals this game week. And you're going to be saying, why did I go for Nonto? I thought I was being clever because I know Nonto doesn't blank in game week 25. I didn't consider the fact that he's just not as good as an FPL asset in the 4 game weeks. It's not like this is next game week. 4 game weeks, you've got to now have Tony outscoring your Nonto every week just so you avoid a blank. Because this classic overthinking about blank game weeks, because you're thinking too much into it, you think you've got this hidden weapon. I'm not trying to point fingers or, criticise anyone like this, but I just think it's one of those, a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. And I don't think knowing about these blanks is as big of a weapon as you think it is. It's something to be aware of. Of course it is. It's something to be aware of, but to reshape your entire team based on this one bit of information. I mean, Tony, for example, look at his fixtures after this blank in 25. Fulham at home, Everton away, Leicester at home. Like, over this period, how many points do you think Tony is going to score? He's probably going to average like 6 points per game over this period. Take away one fixture from that, and he's still averaging, 5.2 points per game? Which is still fantastic. Which is still incredible, exactly what you want. So, the rant over. I don't ignore good players because they blank in this mythical 4 game week time period or 5 game week time period. Don't ignore the best ones anyway. Keep an eye on them, be aware of it. But there we go. Bench list, guys. Let's finish off the stream with a bench list. Let's add some players to the bench list, guys. I'm going to read out just these last super chats, and I'm going to be really, really quick about it. It's from Nikyle. But whilst I'm reading this out, put some names in the chat of players you want me to add to the bench list. Right, Nikyle says, my team, Kepa Shaw, Botman, Trips, Bruno, Rashford, Andreas, Kulu, Tony, Haaland, Kane. Bench, Ward, Almiron, White. Want Ødegaard in game week 22 and Saka in game week 23. Don't think you need Saka and Ødegaard. If you've... well, actually, to be fair, maybe you do. Sell Kulusevski and Almiron. They're probably the 2 players you can sacrifice. Ødegaard for Kulusevski next week, maybe. And if you're going to bench Almiron anyway, which I wouldn't really recommend, I'd rather play Almiron than Andreas, then that's a good sign that Almiron is potentially time for him to leave the team. Right, and hopefully now, if you look at the chat, we were going to see some players for me to put in here. All right, Almiron, where are we putting you, my friend? My Almiron-y friend. I'm going to put Almiron, I'm going to back the attacker, but I'm going to put him slightly behind some of these other players. Ake, we're gonna want to play Ake. And by the way, the reason Cancelo is on here quite high is because if he doesn't start, it's unlikely he comes off the bench, I think. Botman, you 100% play. Put Botman here. Look, why do so many people have Castagna? Yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. All right. I mean, yeah. Oh, actually, I know why people have Castagna. Was it... Who was it who was hyping up Castagna? Was it FPL Raptor? When people have these random players, it's always because there's one content creator that's hyped them up. I swear. Cucurella. I think that's FPL Focal hyped up Cucurella. He can get in the bin as well. He's going to go pretty low, I think, as well. Why is Andreas so low? I mean, what are you expecting from him? He's a 4.5 million midfielder. Ketia? Ketia, like, I don't know. Probably like... here? Okay, we've got some team news, apparently. No Trent or Darwin. Interesting. Dan Cross, where are you getting that from, man? Let us know in the chat. And we'll have a look on Twitter, see if we can find it. Stones, if you have him, start him. Again. Martial, like, if you have him, like, I guess you could start as... Martial is a sell, by the way, at this point. If we have to put him somewhere... I guess he's, like, here, if I'm honest. Rodrigo, you start... like, here, back the attacker. Team news and ticks, okay. Let's get it on. Is it on Instagram or Twitter? So let's just have a look. Okay, well, it's saying... There we go, Twitter rumors suggesting... I don't know, it says Twitter rumors. I don't know how much that is. Do we have to go on Instagram for this? No, that's a pinned tweet from ages ago. There we go. There's your answer. Looks like Darwin, if you haven't sold him already, you've got like 1 minute to sell him. Where's Dunk on the list? Okay, Dunk would go, I think, not super low, to be honest. I'd rather play Dunk than some of these other, like, Arsenal like City, and United defenders, I think. But, yeah, Dunk would be in and around the Arsenal and United. What's wrong with Martial? He's just injured and plays against Arsenal. Gakpo. Do you guys have Gakpo? We've got some really random players on here. Ben Mee, if you have him, start him, I guess. Walker, Kyle Walker. Like, can we just make an assumption that because all of the Man City defenders are here, maybe just put it there? I don't think he'd tweet it if he didn't have confidence in it. That's so true. That's so true. Or maybe he's trying to save his own back as well, saying, oh, it's not me, it's the other guys saying it. Yeah. So he doesn't bait his source out, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, I believe it as well. I believe it. Darwin is not even playing, supposedly, so he can go right at the bottom underneath Bueno. But yeah, we're pretty much out of time at this point. You guys asking like Salah on the bench list, and Bruno Fernandes. If you have these players, play them. I have this conversation with you guys every week. If you have these like really expensive players and you're not playing them, why do you have them? Deary me, deary me. And let's put in their own section Kepa over Ward as well. And we'll put Edison above both of them. There we go. I think that's pretty much it for the bench list. I'm not going to add any more players. I'm just going to double check that my team is looking good before the deadline hits. Does that look good? I think it does. Well, yeah, happy days. Cool. All right. There we have it. Deadline has passed. Did I roll? I certainly did. I rolled my old transfer. And we're locked in, guys. How confident are we feeling? Probably not very. I don't think anyone's feeling very confident this week. It's going to be a low one. It's going to be a low scoring one. But let's see what happens. Show team gang, you're late. We didn't have any show team gang today, or not very many. I didn't see anyone. What happened? What happened to the show team gang today? We missed them. We missed them. FPL didn't crash. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. FPL didn't crash. It's a rare occurrence at this point. How many points is everyone predicting for this game week? Not very high. I think if you get above like 55 points, I think you have done well this week. I think 55, 60 points. Luke says maybe they've had enough of you. Dan Cross, maybe they've got the message finally. I think that's true. I think the show team gang have finally understand. Maybe it's because I'm not making transfers. They're only interested when I'm making transfers. Jandre says, I'll take 55. Yeah. I think I'll take 55 as well. I think the average points is going to be low. I think the average points this game week is going to be around, like, what was it last week? Last week it was pretty low, I think. Go have a look. Oh, crap, I can't do that. All right, well. I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, last game week... we can't even have a look at my team anymore. Last game week, the average points was pretty low. I think it was like 48 or something like that. And that was in a double game week. So this week, it could be even lower. I think average points could be somewhere around 40. It's going to be pretty bad. Jandre says, how is Mrs. FPL Mate's team doing? Pretty good, considering she hasn't made a single transfer since game week 16. Michael says, Let's Talk FPL said he'll start Ward over Kepa, and you said the other way round. I went with your call. Let's see what happens. No! Don't say that! For God's sake. First it's Nonto versus Nontno. Now it's Ward versus Kepa. I tell you what. One thing I have been, like, fair enough. Like, I don't know how well I'm doing compared to other FPL content creators. I imagine... I know Ross is doing very well. I think I'm catching up with the other guys, though. I may have even overtaken some of them. And I think that is in part due to Kepa, the legend that is Kepa. Playing him over Edison. Because a lot of people going for Edison, and Kepa just dominating Edison. Love it. Absolutely love it. Nikyle, thank you very much for becoming a member. Were you not a member before? I thought you were. Maybe not. I've seen your name around so much. Dan Cross, I know why you're playing Ward. It's because you're a Liverpool fan, and that is bias getting in your way. But Kepa is gonna go off. He's gonna go off. Salah says get down to 1k likes. There's not even 1,000 people in here, so I don't think we can get to 1,000 likes, but I appreciate it. Oh dear. I think both will concede, but Kepa better for save points and bonus points. I kind of agree with you. I think Leicester are... And this is exactly where my... this is my logic of why I've gone for Kepa over Ward. I think I've said this in another video, but I'll say it again anyway. Kepa plays for a better defence than Ward does. Ward plays, obviously, for Leicester. And Chelsea are a better defence than Leicester. So there's 1 point in Kepa's favour. Plays for the better defence. Second point, Kepa is a better goalkeeper than Ward. So even if he faces more shots, which he won't because he's playing... Well, we'll get there. Even if, you know, they're going to kind of take an equal amount of shots towards their goal, Kepa is more likely to make more saves. Going to stay a better save percentage, do better on his XGC. So again, 2 points for Kepa, 0 points for Ward. More importantly than ever, I genuinely think that Brighton are a better attack than Liverpool. So that's another point in Kepa's favour. He's playing against the weaker of attack. And by the way, Liverpool and Brighton, both good attack. I do think Brighton's attack, I do rate more at the moment. So Kepa, better goalkeeper, playing for a better defence against a weaker attack. He's got 3 key points that put him above Ward. So it makes sense. It makes sense, right? I'm not going mad here, am I? So let's talk FPL. If you want to go for Ward, if you want to go for Nonto, I will probably still lose, but at least I have some reasons behind it. At least I have some thinking. Yeah, guys, I don't know if any of you guys are coming from other streams. What's the consensus on the Kepa versus Ward thing? I'd be interested to know, what are other people saying about it? What, like, if you've seen stuff on Twitter, if you've seen other YouTube videos, if you've seen other streams today, maybe, let me know. What's the consensus there? Because I'm pretty reasonably happy with this decision. It makes a lot of sense to me. But if there's other opinions that I've maybe not considered, and that's always a possibility, I would love to hear about them. Crash says, I thought I would never see the day where Brighton's attack is better than Liverpool's attack. I know, it's crazy, right? Was going for Ramsdale over Kepa in goal a good idea? I don't know. That's kind of a more difficult one. Bilbo says, Ward all day. Tell me why. Mishka says they said play the home keeper. And that, okay, yeah, fair enough. That is a good point. That is 1 point in Ward's favour that he plays at home. But I always do this. I think people over. I think a lot of the time people overrate home versus away. Like, it's not like a big deciding factor necessarily, is it? Often the away team is the better, well, I say better defense. They are playing more defensively. Because it's at Anfield. Get your noses out of the history books, lads. Anfield is not the fortress it once was. So, yeah, I mean, if we're comparing the argument of home team versus away team compared to who has the better defence, who's the better goalkeeper, who is playing against the better of attack, I think the fact that, you know, home versus away compared to the other three factors, I think is kind of less significant, certainly. But I agree, it perhaps is a factor. All right, so Andy's also gone for Kepa over Ward. All right, so someone was capping. Someone was capping in the chat. All right, we're the same team. Kepa gang, rise up. Kepa gang, rise up. Ward makes more saves. I don't know if that's true. Is that true? Let's have a look. Can I have a look? Can we go custom saves? Here we go. Saves 3.5. So we go, who's made the most saves per start since game week 17? Ward is here. Ooh, I can't find Kepa. Where are you? Oh, there you are. So yeah, that's just not true. Yeah, it's just not true. Kepa is making more saves than Ward. Kepa also has a better save percentage. That's right, Lunatic Zach. I think we're... Oh, okay, Andy has Edison. All right, I give up. I don't care. I don't care who he's putting in goal anymore. All I care about is that Ward, that Kepa beats Ward. I don't care about Edison. Edison is probably going to keep a clean sheet. He plays against Wolves. Of course he's going to keep a clean sheet. But I want Kepa. Clean sheet. Save points. Bonus points. Everything. Big 10-pointer from our boy, Kepa Arrizabalaga. That's what I want. The ghosted goalkeeper himself. Big Man Bakar says Kepa for save points. I couldn't agree more. The guy knows his stuff. The guy knows ball. The guy knows ball. Gakpo going to crush it this week. Let's see. Ward's name starts with a dub. That is true. That is actually true. Fair enough. Fair enough. Best replacement for Reece James is best replacement for Reece James. What is this? Game week 18. Need another big fat 10-point from Kepa. Yes, Zach. You're exactly correct. Matt B says, thoughts on Podence after Wolves' bad fixtures are done? Wolves' bad fixtures are never done. Every fixture's a bad fixture for a Wolves attacker. Yeah, no, I'm not feeling it. I think people have been caught in the Wolves attacker trap far too many times. I'm not going there personally. Like, there's so many other good midfielders. Like, how are you going to fit Podence in among Rashford, Ødegaard, Martinelli, De Bruyne, Mahrez, Mitoma, March, other good midfielders? Bruno Fernandes. Don't know. I don't think there's any room for Podence. Omni Shamble says Liverpool 2.2 points per home game versus 0.89 points per away game. Well, I mean, I don't really care about that. All I care about is the fact, well, whether or not that they can score goals. And right now, they're looking less and less like. I mean, to be honest, I think both Liverpool and Brighton score. I'm not expecting a clean sheet from either Kepa or Ward, to be honest. It'd be a nice bonus if we get a clean sheet. But, yeah, I just feel like I can't see Liverpool scoring more than one goal, really. And I think there's going to be save points available as well. How come Edison didn't get assist points last game week? I'm assuming it's because of the big deflection of was it Longley? Longley tried to control the ball, miscontrolled it, and it went to Mahrez. So I'm guessing it's because, that was seen as a changing of possession when Longley tried to control the ball. On another game week, that potentially goes down as an assist. So it's a little bit unlucky, really, for Edison owners. But, yeah, I'm guessing that was the logic behind not giving the assist. It was because of the big touch by Longley before Mahrez got the ball. I saw someone put on Twitter that I can't remember who it was. They said, I can't believe Edison didn't get an assist. He played a pinpoint pass up to Mahrez. I mean, how pinpoint is it if the defender intercepts it first before it reaches the intended target? So I do still think that probably should have gone down as an assist, but I understand the reasoning why it hasn't been given. If I was an Edison owner right now, I'd be pretty disappointed. I really would. But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I don't have Edison, so there's only a certain amount of sympathy I can have, unfortunately. Bias. I'm sorry. But yeah, probably should have been an assist, to be honest. But they're weird ones. When a defender gets their foot in and takes a deflection, it goes both ways. We had a Saka situation, kind of similar to that, like, what was it, a couple of game weeks ago. So yeah, sometimes these assists get given, sometimes they don't. It's really the luck of the draw. Ryan says intended target, and yeah, that is why I think it should have been an assist, because it looks like that was the intended target, but it's a case of whether Longley, his touch, was considered a transition of possession. I don't think it was, personally. But if it is, then Spurs get possession, no assist. But yeah, it was an assist. It probably was an assist. But trying to play devil's advocate here, guys, because obviously it wasn't given, and we want to try and rationalise it. We want to try and figure out why that wasn't the case. But yeah, the pass was intercepted. Still probably should have been an assist. But yeah, it happens. It's frustrating. Like, sometimes you'll get it, sometimes you won't. Sometimes, like a couple of seasons ago, Bruno Fernandes will get an assist for a goal where he didn't even touch the ball. Sometimes Bruno Fernandes will get a goal where Rashford was offside. Sometimes things happen in FPL. Sometimes your stats get misrecorded. Sometimes different things happen. You just got to kind of roll with it. It's a game at the end of the day. We all know that FPL is a game that has a little bit of luck involved. There's always a little bit of luck involved, isn't there? Sometimes that's going to go your way. Sometimes it is not. We kind of got to just roll with it, right? Fair enough. Christian says FPL assists are dependent on who's at work, no consistency. I agree. Christian, I agree. I do agree with you, man. The midfield master Jack Colback says it was never an assist. Longley intercepted the ball but lost control. That is the other side of the coin. Any team news? Okay, team news so far suggest that we've got no Trent or Darwin Nunez today. So let's see what happens there. I know that Darwin is back in training though, so be interested to see what the situation is there. Let's have a look on Twitter, see if we've got anything else. Team news and ticks, you got anything else? Don't know. Just a load of people showing off their teams. All right, now Rudy says Longley definitely did not intercept the ball. He tried to intercept the ball and failed miserably. Hence, the ball continued to roll to the path of Mahrez. Am I going to get a copyright strike if we analyse this on screen? I might. I don't know if I'm allowed to. Actually, doesn't it fall under fair use for educational purposes? For criticism and educational purposes. I think, actually, they're so strict with Premier League clips. I don't think it's worth the risk. But we're not gonna analyse it. We're not gonna analyse it. The result is done. Like what do you want to do? We can analyse it all we like. The result has been given. They're not going to give Edison retrospective FPL points now, are they? So what do you want to do? What do you want me to do? I don't know. If it's a screenshot, yeah, that'd be fine. But let's put Longley Mahrez into Twitter and see if we can find a photo. Right, let's just see if there's any on a different day, that is an assist. Can I just see the touch anywhere? I don't think we're gonna find it. Everyone's talking about FIFA here. Yeah, forget about it. If Pep doesn't start Cancelo again, I'm gonna go insane. KB, I think you might be out of luck, my friend. I can't see it start. I can't see him starting, if I'm honest. I can't see it happening. Yeah, I got Foden and Cancelo. Oh, do you just hate yourself? You're playing some kind of sick game to torture yourself on FPL. Are you trying to torture yourself? Because that sounds like that's what you're doing. Wouldn't be surprised if they're still adding points to old games in World Cup Fantasy. Yeah, to be fair, that's true. If it was World Cup Fantasy, maybe they would go back and give Edison the points. Christ almighty, that was a mess, wasn't it? I hope Euro Fantasy is better next year. Euro 2024. Looking forward to it. MSN said, should I sub Almiron and sub in Mitrovic? It's a bit late. We're 20 minutes past deadline, I'm afraid, my friend. What's Kyle Walker ever done to Pep, apart from play for England? I don't know, man. I don't know. Pep's helping big time with anti-FPL? I guess so. KB says, LMAO, I'm trying my best. I'm top 100k. Well, congratulations. I thought I was ahead of the curve. KB, you are very much behind the curve. Cancelo and Foden, good this week. I reckon would not want that headache, though. Yeah, it's just a headache, isn't it? I think Cancelo won't start, but I think there's a good chance Foden does. Ahmed says, I started Shaw and Gabriel and benched Almiron, also captain Tony. I am Jose Mourinho. Are you? Captain Tony is an interesting one. I kind of see. I kind of see the appeal. I like that. Engeisman? Is that what that says? Now what to do? About what? I wait for team news. That's what I'm doing. And then I'm going to go off and, I don't know, play some Xbox maybe. Or, I don't know. I've got my birthday party tonight. Looking forward to that. Anyone want to come? No? Okay. I'll bring a cake. Do you want to... No one's coming to my birthday party. No, they are, I hope. My mum will come. It'll be me and my mum. And my brother. 2 brothers. Having a little bit. Maybe some of my friends will come as well. We'll see. Might be a good night. I'm going to get very drunk. So, if you see me on Twitter or Instagram talking nonsense this evening, you'll know why. Yeah, okay. My birthday was technically like 3 weeks ago. But, like, my birthday is on the 28th of December. So, it's like... You can't have a birthday party on the 28th of December because it's like everyone is busy around Christmas. So no one will come. So if I want a few people to come, I have to do it in January. Even though January is like people are like not even really available in January, particularly early January. People just like disappear off the face of the planet. So yeah. So I thought we're late enough in January. Maybe enough people have given up on dry January by this point that they might come and have a drink. The midfield master says your birthday was the day I was operated on. Your day sounded better than mine. Yeah, possibly, man. Hope the operation went well though, and you're recovering well. Been a few weeks now since then, so I'm guessing you're in good spirits now. Sounds good. Hopefully, fingers crossed. What did you learn about yourself from the YouTube comment? About my name? Oh, right, here it is. There you go. You can see that tweet if you want to. What? Okay, right. Chat. If my name is not Dan, what is it? Because I'm so confused by this YouTube comment. So confused. Jandre says, Dan, no pressure from the missus yet for kids. She's like going the opposite way. She says like, let's focus on careers for now. Let's focus on careers. Maybe do one more house move or do up our house whilst we still haven't got to spend all our money on children. Get ourselves in a good position and then we'll think about it. Yeah, no, she's just got a fantastic new job in the NHS. I won't bait out exactly what she does. I don't know if I should. It's not really my place to say. But she's got a really good new job. So yeah, she's only doing her training now for it. She's not quite fully trained, but she's doing really well with her training, passing all her exams and stuff that she needs to do for the accreditation and qualifications. And she'll be starting that officially within the next couple of months. So she's got a really new job. YouTube's going well here. Happy to focus on this. I've got a couple of other ideas as well of little projects I want to do as well. So no kids for me. No baby mates. No FPL babies. Not quite yet. Not quite yet. Although I would quite like to sire a future FPL champion. I'll teach them from a young age the ways of the fantasy. We will do that. I'm the one giving the pressure. No. I'm really enjoying YouTube at the moment. There's still a few projects and stuff I'd like to kick off, which is just not going to be possible. With kids. Imagine having a birthday party after a month. I know it's depressing, but it is what it is. Jax reckons my name is John. Klemler says Daniel. You're close. I mean, that is technically true. Seaton says Don. Yes, my name is not Dan, it's Don. Danislav Danimir. Can I try really hard? Danislav Danimirovic. Yes, my name is Danislav Danimirovic. Do the kids early, brother. Sacrifice, it's worth it decades from now. Oh, I don't really want to. I've got so much. I was so young. I'm not that young anymore. But I've got there's things I want to do. There's projects I want to launch. I'm doing YouTube videos pretty much every single day. I don't know if I have time. Juice WRLD says, I recommend to not have babies. Oh dearie me. When you come to India, I don't know. I wasn't really planning on it. I've got nothing in the calendar. It's Damien. Her name is not Damien. Daniele Matteo. I mean, I can kind of see it. Dan Juma. I like it. What website was I using earlier? Fantasy Football Hub. Parents hyping up having kids out there. Yeah. Aren't you, Dan? I am. Mate, kids will be the best thing you'll ever have in life. Legit, nothing compares. No, so I hear. And, like, obviously, as I get older, I have more of my friends become parents, and which has been happening over the last year or so. And they say it's very rewarding. But they also say they have no time and that they're exhausted. And I want to pick up more work, not lose time. And exactly the same with my wife. She wants to do more, not less. So it's just not the right time. But, like, how cool is it that we can just chat about this? In an FPL stream, we're discussing whether FPL Mate should have children or not. I will eventually, I hope. Abdullah reckons my real name is Mate. Could be true. Listen to your friends, Dan. Well, my friends say two things. They say, one, this is the best thing ever. I love having kids. And they also say, I have no time. I'm so sorry. I can't come tonight. My child is screaming through the night. They're ill all the time. They're fighting with my other child. I just want to sleep. I think I'm going to have to go part-time at my work. I can't handle it. I can handle it, but it's really rewarding. But it is exhausting. And I don't want that bit. It puts me off. There's loads of time. So much time. Name my kid FPL. I'm a young spring chicken. I've got plenty of years. I've got plenty of years for kids. Plenty. Jandre had his first at 35. He does say he wished he had him earlier. I reckon. I don't know. Well, I'll wait till I'm like, 33, 34. It's called controlling your children. Is it? I mean, if they're babies, there's only a certain amount of controlling you can do, isn't there? To be fair. Siddharth, hope you're well, Dan. Yeah, I'm pretty good today, man. Thank you very much for asking. Enjoying my married life? Yeah, that's what it's all about. Son or daughter, Dan? A bit of both. One of each. Be nice. I will take what is given to me. Who do I captain? Haaland. I am vanilla like that. There's only now, mate. Don't bank on a future that might not be. I had kids at 40. Definitely go ahead. Yeah, but you say that, but you could say the same thing about, like, this YouTube stuff. What if losing time stops me from doing daily videos? Like, having young kids is not easy. I've seen that firsthand with my friends. Everyone says it. Having young kids is not easy. And I'm at a critical point in my life. YouTube is not going to last forever for me. And look, I've probably got if I do very, very well, I've probably got a maximum of 4 or 5 years before this YouTube channel dies. These are the peak years for me to try and create a foundation, a financial foundation, really, for the rest of my life. And like I said, there's other projects that I'm really, really keen to get off the ground. And I know it's going to be so difficult. So yeah, we gotta focus on this right now. If I wasn't doing YouTube, then it might be a slightly different situation. But I am, and it takes up a lot of time, and I want it to take up more time. I want to spend more. That just died. Don't know if anyone's still here. If you are, you are. If you're not, and maybe I gave you a bit of a fright just now. Who knows? But yeah, we're gonna. I think it's a good time to leave it there. Just because I don't know what's going on with my internet at the moment. Apparently, quick look at the team news, and then I'll end the stream. So there you go. There's an interesting Chelsea team. No Cucurella, not even on the bench. Oh no, he is playing in midfield. Right. Okay. So yes, we have got Cucurella. And no Modric. Koulibaly on the bench. Interesting. Liverpool. No. Alexander Arnold on the bench. Nunez on the bench. There you go. All right. Let's leave it there. Thank you guys for watching. If anyone is still there, don't know if they are or not. Who knows? Who cares? Let's leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. And see you later, mates. Bye.